Hello, everybody. My name is Richard Gelati with the Retirement Group. Thank you for joining me for the SBC AT&T Company Pension History. Tonight we're going to be just going over the pension plans. No fluff in between, just strictly all the pension plans. And some of these plans don't exist in certain areas, so I don't always think that all these plans we're going to go over tonight exist in your area. You're going to learn that for Texas, for instance, most of the people are dealing with just the CAM and the cash balance plan on the management side. California, they're dealing with the CAM, the cash balance, the ATB, the SATB. So depending on what area you live in is going to be dependent on what plans you're dealing with. So let's get right into it. Service pension eligibility, SPE. This is very, very important. Many people misunderstand this, and many people at the company misunderstand this. They think it's just mod 75. They say, are you mod 75? And they forget about one of the other ways to actually become service pension eligible. It's not about being mod 75. It's about being SPE. The first and foremost way is any age you are, doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are, as long as you have 30 years of service, you are SPE. Now, don't confuse being service pension eligible with age penalties. That's a totally different set of rules. So the first set of rules is, are you service pension eligible? What does that mean? SPE means you are on Table A. Think of it like an A through an F. A is the best. You're on Table A, which means you're going to get a lot of your pension, most of it or all of your pension. If you end up on Table B instead of A, you can think of B as an F, because if you end up on Table B, you'll get severe penalties. So SPE is really getting you to Table A. Everybody starts on Table B, and they are always on Table B until they become service pension eligible, and that's when they move over to Table A, which again is the table that you want to be on to get a very high, if not 100% payout on your pension. So the first way to become SPE is any age with 30 years of service. Then they go into something called mod 75 for the other three ways. You could be 50 years of age with 25 years of service, 55 years of age with 20 years, and then 65 with 10. Notice they do skip 60 and 15. It goes from 55 and 20 to 65 and 10. You know, an easy way to do the math, because sometimes you'll get people that are in between. Maybe they're 53 with 25 years, and when they were 50, they only had 22 years. What you want to do is make sure you can put a check in both columns. So if I'm 53, that means I'm over 50, check, and I have 25 years of service, another check. So I am mod 75 at 53 with 25 years of service. If I was 49 with 26 years of service, that doesn't count. And some people get confused that as long as your age plus your years of service equals 75, you're service pension eligible. That is not correct. You have to be able to put a check next to age minimum and service years minimum. So again, if I'm 53 with 24 years, you think, well, you know, 53 and 24, that's 77. I must be mod 75. That's not correct, because I can put a check on the 53 because I'm over 50, but because I don't have 25 years, I can't check that side of the box, so to speak, and therefore I'm not SPE. So just make sure you can put a check in both sides, the age and the years of service, and you won't make a mistake trying to figure out when someone becomes mod 75. Now again, don't forget any age plus 30 years is the other way to become service pension eligible. So get used to saying service pension eligible, not mod 75. Now age penalties, again, they differ. Even if you're service pension eligible, that doesn't mean age penalties don't apply. And we're going to go into a lot of detail on when age penalties apply and when they don't. Management always has age penalties when they're below 55. Non-management, sometimes called craft, has age penalties below 55 unless they have 30 years of service. Net credited service, NCS is what you'll hear some people call it. So keep in mind that non-management does have a special rule. If they have 30 years, there is no age penalties. All right, so let's talk a little bit about craft first, and then we're going to go into management. Craft is very basic. This is pretty much the entire page for the craft pension. Management, on the other hand, has many, many different formulas, as I mentioned earlier. But the craft pension is your pension band, which is a number that they come up with based on your job title. And it actually increases over time as you do more and more years of service. So it's your pension band, a number they give you. Maybe you started with 50 and now it's 77. It'll grow slowly. Times your NCS, your net credited service, or your years of service, equals a monthly annuity. And with that monthly annuity, they will take away age penalties if they apply. So your age penalties in the middle here, if you have less than 30 years of net credited service, it's a 6% haircut per year for every year under 55. If you're greater than 30 years of service, there is no age penalties, as we said earlier. So just keep that in mind. 30 years is very, very important. A lot of craft non-management will talk about hitting their 30 years. So let's do a couple examples because it can get confusing. 53 plus 26, let's see, so I'm over 50 and I've got more than 25 years. I think I'm pretty sure that means I'm mod 75, so why does it say negative 12? Keep in mind, just because you're service pension eligible doesn't mean you're not going to have age penalties. In this case, you're SPE, which means you're on the great table of Table A, which is a very good thing. You've now switched over to Table A. But because you're under 55 and you have less than 30 years of service, it's a 6% haircut per year below 55. In this case, 2 years below 55 is going to be a 12% haircut. Now, in the second example, I'm 56 with 21. Okay, so 55 and 20. I'm 55 and I have at least, so that's mod 75 also. That means I am service pension eligible and I'm on Table A. But it says 0% for age penalties. Why? Well, you met mod 75 and you're over 55. So because of that, even though you don't have 30 years of service because you're over 55, there is no age penalty. So not only are you SPE, but there's no age penalties either, so that's a great thing. So the reason a lot of them always think about 30 years is because a lot of them started very, very young, and they're going to hit 30 years well before they hit 55. The idea is to hit 55 and be mod 75 or service pension eligible and be able to walk away with 100% of your pension. So just keep this in mind when you're looking at craft and non-management, that just because you're SPE doesn't mean you're not going to have age penalties, and a lot of them don't understand that. Now, management plans, unfortunately, are many, and there's been many changes, and the changes really didn't take effect for about 70 years. So they kept it easy for about 70 years, and then in the last 20 years, they've gone absolutely wild with all the different plans. So let's kind of do a little history. 1877, AT&T was formed.